It's Monday, everybody, which means we get to stand in front of a fantastic new car that's new at the RPM Garage inventory. Today, I'm standing in front of a 2010 Dodge Challenger SRT8 with only 21,000 miles. Yes, you heard me correctly, 21,000. That means that this car, over the past 10-ish years, has only been driven about 2,000 miles every single year, and that alone is impressive on any car. The fact that this is a purebred American muscle car and has seen so few miles is truly something else entirely, which is why I'm so excited to talk about it today. As I said, this is an SRT8. Now, while SRT is kind of a household name now when it comes to Mopar performance, it wasn't 10 years ago, and there are very few of these SRT8s that actually hit the production lines and then hit the road. What's different between the SRT8 and the normal Dodge Challenger RT is, beyond the cosmetics, the engine. Now, we will obviously talk a lot more about it later on, but the main difference is that this has a 6.1 liter Hemi V8 engine under the hood, whereas the base model Dodge Challenger RT only had a 5.7 liter V8. As a result, this produces a significant amount of horsepower, and there are another couple surprises under the hood that make it even better. Today, I can't wait to talk to you about this fantastic machine, and I can't wait to dive right in. As I mentioned at the beginning of this video, this car is a monster inside and out. So going beyond the increased power under the hood, there are a couple of indicators as to why this is an SRT8 and very, very different from the normal standard Dodge Challenger RT. One of the things you may have noticed pretty quickly are these Alcoa forged 20-inch SRT alloy wheels. Now, I love the black on black combination because it works brilliantly with the lines of the car, but it is one of a couple very key SRT8 indicators that suggest that this car may be just a little bit more than your base Challenger. Another thing you may have noticed is the ducktail spoiler. Now, I will obviously show a clip of that either before this clip or after this clip, but nonetheless, you will notice it, and it does have an SRT8 badge on it. There are a couple of other SRT8 badges placed around the car. There's a couple in the interior and the one on the back. Now, obviously, those are kind of subtle, especially if you're not looking too closely, but I think that that does add to the sleeper appeal of the car. Now, there are a couple of other things that I personally just like about this car. One of the things are these racing stripes. Now, these are kind of a quasi-carbon patterned racing stripe on the hood front of the car, and they look awesome. I truly love how they look, especially against the black paint. Now, you may also have noticed that this car looks a lot, very remarkably so, in fact, like the original Challengers of the 60s and 70s. And that's obviously for good reason. This car pays brilliant homage to those past performers while also adding a bunch of modern styling twists. As you can see, this car has incredibly aggressive lines, and that awesome vented hood with the 6.1 Hemi badge on it does add a significant amount of appeal to the car. Additionally, I think that there's a lot to be said for the black paint. Now, obviously, there are a lot of color choices you could go with on your Dodge Challenger, but the black paint works particularly well, especially because if this is a race car as it is kind of designed to be, then it truly does have the muscle car appeal that you would associate with a Dodge Charger or a Dodge Challenger. Think of Fast and Furious. Just about every single one of the Dodge Challengers and Chargers in that film franchise were black, and we obviously have since associated those black Dodge Challengers and Dodge Chargers with high performance exhilaration, and this car here is absolutely no different. Now, when we dive under the hood, there are a couple other surprises that I think will even increase that appeal just a bit more. As I said at the beginning of the video, this car has a 6.1 liter V8 engine under the hood, which is a significant power boost over the stock Challenger RT's 5.7 liter V8. Now, completely stock from the factory, this engine is rated to produce 425 horsepower, which is a very impressive figure given that it is both a 2010 car and, of course, an American naturally aspirated V8. Now, by itself, that's an impressive power figure, definitely worthy of some incredible fast numbers. This engine isn't stock, though. As you may or may not notice, this has a Vortech-supercharger centrifugal supercharger V3 in it. Now, that's kind of a mouthful, but to break it down, if you're familiar with the brand ProCharger, they produce centrifugal belt-driven superchargers that to some may look a lot like turbochargers. However, they do function indeed like superchargers, and this here is no different. Branded a bit differently than ProCharger, these Vortech superchargers are absolutely phenomenal, and they do make an awesome kit for this car here. So awesome, in fact, that I'll quote the manufacturer's power ratings for it. Fully calibrated and totally complete, as this one is, this supercharger will boost your stock SRT8 to an impressive 560 horsepower and 510 pound-feet of torque at 8 psi at the factory redline using California 91 octane fuel. Now, again, that is a direct quote from the manufacturer. We unfortunately do not have a dyno sheet for this car to verify the truth of that claim. However, it is a safe bet that on 93 octane, which is what is often used here in Texas, that this car is producing well above 500 horsepower and likely well above 550 horsepower as well. One additional benefit, though, to this engine, and of course the ProCharger that comes with it, is the beautimous noise that is produced by the quad-tipped exhaust in the rear. Now, obviously, we will start it up for you later in the video. That is a staple for our videos here at Review Monday and RPM Garage. But, of course, we won't do that just yet. With all of those power figures, though, this car truly pulls unlike anything else. And it's one thing to say, oh, well, it's basically a Hellcat. It's another to actually drive it, because it truly is very, very similar to a modern-day Hellcat. Which is great, especially given that this car is, again, 20,000 miles, and best of all, supercharged for a fraction of the cost of a modern Hellcat. So, with that in mind, let's dive into the interior to compare this car to some of the more modern Dodge Challengers and see what some of the great benefits are. One of many people's greatest complaints with older Dodges is their interior amenities, and you know, on the base model Dodge Challenger, a lot of people were justified in their claims. Dodge didn't truly offer much even with their highest trim Challengers, but this is a different story entirely. Now, as you can see, I do have a leather steering wheel, a nice infotainment system, and a rear view mirror that is aftermarket with a backup camera installed, and those are all very well and nice. But what I truly love about this car are the SRT leather bucket seats. Now, the fact that Dodge has gone so above and beyond to truly push the SRT brand since this car came out is phenomenal, but I really do appreciate both the comfort and support these seats offer in addition to their SRT stitching. A couple of other things you may notice about the interior are the distinct lack of paddle shifters. Now, on modern Dodge Challengers, you'll see them right here and right here. But on this Dodge Challenger, the shift, if you so choose to put it into manual mode, is down here at the actual gear shifter. So, once you drop it into drive, you are able to select your shift, which is common for the time, but very, very different compared to modern standards. However, I see it as much more of a benefit, because if you are a true manual transmission enthusiast, then you'll appreciate the similarity to driving more of a sequential shifter over paddle shifters. A couple of other things you may notice about the interior are, of course, the sunroof, which is also highly uncommon on most Dodge Challengers, and the premium sound system. Now, obviously, it's not very important to have a sound system when you have a ProCharged V8 under the hood. However, I truly think that a sound system is very much appreciated in a car like this, mainly because if you're driving it, you have the windows up, it's hot out or it's cold out. Some nice music does go a long way, and there is very little doubt that these speakers will produce a fantastic note for nights like that. Altogether though, this interior truly is something else entirely, and the fact that it really does come from the factory like this, from Dodge no less, is truly something else entirely. With that in mind, I am very, very happy with how this car, sits, feels, drives, and of course how it is to be inside of it. It has a fantastic interior, and I truly, truly recommend coming in and taking a seat in it. To finish off the video, we talk a little bit more about what's going on back here. Now, this car, as I said before, does have that ducktail spoiler with the SRT8 badge, and that is great, and it does let everyone you pass know that you do in fact have a significantly better car than they do. A couple of other things you may notice though are the aftermarket taillights. Now, I truly love Dodge Challengers for their long, uninterrupted taillights across the back end, and the fact that they've done an aftermarket version of it that looks even cleaner and very, very nice altogether makes me extremely happy. Now, to talk a bit more about the car itself. As I mentioned at the beginning of this video, this car has 21,000 miles on it, which means that it is insanely well kept and has very, very few miles. When you consider that this car is more than 10 years old, that means that it's only been driven on average 2,000 miles a year. Now, for any car, that would be a truly impressive feat, but the fact that this is a very daily drivable muscle car that has been kept in such fantastic condition is something else entirely. Now, you'd think, oh, well, this is a very, very expensive car with a very, very high MSRP, and with very few miles and kind of a collector's status, it must be a very expensive car to buy. And given everything that it is, it really isn't all that bank-breaking. Priced at about $31,991, this car could be yours. And that is a very, very impressive feat. Now, it is worth mentioning too that we at RPM Garage do ship nationwide, so if you do have any concerns, please feel free to contact us through our website or give us a call. Our contact information will be below and on our website as well. Finally, I hope you all very much enjoyed this video, and I can't urge you enough to like, share, and subscribe. That would mean very, very much to me and the rest of my team here at RPM Garage. Lastly, please, please, please check out our Instagram, our TikTok, and all of our other social media for more regular content and more features of cool cars like this. We do also have merchandise coming very, very soon, and I hope you will all consider purchasing some of that as well, because that would be a huge help to me and our dealership. Hope you all very much enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you in the next one.